Hi, I'm Mike Hughes, and I coined the phrase the Magenta Principles 30 years ago. It was November 1994. Wow. In some respects, it seems like it was just yesterday. But of course, it wasn't. It was a while ago now, and a lot of water has flowed under a lot of bridges, and there's been a lot of changes since. But as much as things have changed, so too they've remained the same. Children haven't changed, learning hasn't changed, and that's what Magenta's all about, children and learning. The Magenta Principles are just good ideas for teaching and learning, good ideas that you could try in your classroom tomorrow with a minimum of fuss and preparation. Good ideas that will work in primary schools, they'll work in secondary schools, and they'll work right the way across the curriculum. And I thought it would be kind of cool to mark the occasion of the 30th anniversary by sharing with you some of my favourite Magenta ideas, some of my favourite Magenta examples. Ideas and examples that have appeared in the various Magenta publications from over the years. I very much hope you find them useful. I very much hope you go and try them in your own classroom. And there's only one place to start, and that is with the question I've been asked more than any other. So, what are the Magenta Principles? I'll be honest with you, it's a question I actually find very difficult to answer in just a few sentences. But it's a fair question, so I'll give it a go. At the heart of the Magenta Principles lies the question, so what are we asking children, what are we asking pupils, what are we asking students to do with information? What are we asking students to do to information? It's a question that we're going to keep coming back to before, during, and after a lesson. It's a question that everything else will spring from, not least the potential answers. For example, we could ask students to reduce information. We could ask students to connect information or change information. And a great many teachers will recognise that list as the Magenta Principles. It's important to point out, though, that it's not a definitive list. It is, however, a pretty good place to start. Magenta is rooted in learning. I get it. The light bulb moment, the penny dropping moment. Magenta is all about understanding. And if we want students to understand information, then they have to do more with it than simply receive it, retain it, and regurgitate it. Even if we do ensure that they've written it neatly and they've underlined the title with a ruler, that's not learning. That's information transfer. That's curriculum coverage. That's knowing at best. If you want understanding, then students have to explore information. They have to manipulate information, interrogate information. They have to think about information. Have to talk about information. Learning is an active process. It's done by people, not to them. We talk about the Magenta Principles, but in reality, there's only one principle, and that is, in order to understand something, you have to do something with that information. Important to remember, therefore, that we don't ask students to reduce information or classify information or connect information just for the sake of it. We ask students to reduce information in order to get them thinking, in order to get them talking, in order to give the teacher a little insight into what's going on in there, in order to make it more likely we get, I get it. We get to that understanding that we seek. Now, there's more to the Magenta approach and the Magenta Principles than that, of course. But as I say, it's not a bad starting point. And hopefully you now know a little bit more about the Magenta Principles. But if you want to understand them, well, you're going to have to go away and do something with that information. You're going to go away and play around with it. You're going to have to go away and try Magenta out in your classroom, experiment with it, reflect on those experiences, talk to your colleagues about those experiences, and gradually, bit by bit, piece by piece, your personal understanding of Magenta will deepen and develop. And as it does so, you'll be better able to use the approach to help children learn. By the way, Magenta does make explicit reference to the fact that learning should be interesting, enjoyable, exciting, fun. Not just young children in primary schools. Oh no, learning should be interesting, enjoyable, exciting, and fun. The plan then is to share some Magenta ideas with you through these video clips. And as I said earlier, I very much hope that you go away and try them out in your classroom. Very much hope that you find them useful. If you want to find out a little bit more about the Magenta Principles, you might want to check out the Magenta online training program and or some of the Magenta publications. All the information you need will appear at the end of this video. So, what are we asking students to do with information? Have fun.